Hello, it's Paula. Welcome to my crafty channel. Today we're going to try and replicate a layout that's in this gorgeous book from July to September. It is our seasonal release at the moment, and we have got the Backyard Bliss paper. Now this paper was created by one of our makers, Chris Lothian, and she is actually pictured in this lovely spread here used with her husband, and she loves being out in the garden and going for bike rides in the garden and the nature and things. So she helped the Close to My Heart corporate team design this paper pack and absolutely loves the elements that she put in there. So what I have done with my group on Friday at my casual crop is we tried to replicate the ideas that were shown in this range. So here you can see they have used a variety of rectangles. They have also brought in some stamping and some lovely embellishing with the sticker sheets and bits and pieces. So we're going to have a little look at how they went about doing this lovely layout. So what I gave my ladies on Friday at Casual Crop was half a sheet of the Backyard Bliss paper. So we've got that beautiful floral on one side and we have got the grass on the other side. I also gave them a strip from our new melon glitter paper. This is only 1/4 inch, but it's just all you need to add a little bit of a pop to the page itself. Then there was also obviously the zip strip that came on the top of the 1/2 inch strip. And I brought in a few of our new colours. So I brought in a papaya, which is a lovely deeper shade really of our new colour of the year melon. I brought in the lovely shortbread. I really enjoy putting shortbread with things. It's just such a good neutral. It's a nice soft shade. And then the brand new pine. So pine is a deeper green that we haven't had in our range for a while. Now in this gorgeous paperweight, we've actually got a little wood grain strip in there. This is the wood grain. The paper I was giving them had this on one side and this on the other. It did not have the wood grain with it. If you bought the whole collection of paper, you would obviously have that wood grain. But I did have a little bit of wood grain left over from stock, so I pulled that out and gave everybody a strip of that as well. And that's all we needed, as well as the background, of course, background pages, to get this layout started. So the first thing is I measured the, I'll bring this back actually, I measured the rectangles in by eye, just looking at how much space they took on the page, knowing that this is a 12 by 12 page. And I worked out that it would be about a 1 1/4 depth, and I chose to do them at 2 1/2 inches wide. So I have given everyone a strip at 1 1/4 inch depth, and then they had to cut those parallelograms or those rectangles with the angles. Now angles can be a little tricky. They do play on your eyes a bit when you're trying to cut them, and they can just be a little bit of one of those things that become a challenge in our mind. It's a good brain challenge. So the easiest way to cut these rectangles is to take your 1 1/4 inch strip. Any scrap paper will do that you want to put into this, and all I did is that I lined the bottom corner, so the bottom corner down here, at 1/2 inch. So this is 1/2 inch along. The top corner is at my cutting strip. So I'm essentially doing an angle that's just off by 1/2 inch. Okay, so again, the bottom inch was at the 1/2 inch mark. The top corner, sorry, was at the cutting line. So once I've done that first cut, that's just scrap, obviously, I'm going to turn it round. And because I want these to be 2 1/2 inches wide, I'm going to go to the 2 1/2 inches line and line up that parallel cut that I just took. So that's now at 2 1/2 inches. I can take a trim and I've got a nice shaped angled rectangle. And I can do that again. So at 2 1/2 inches, once again, it's the parallel line that has to line up at 2 1/2 inches. And I take another trim there. If you go back to the layout, you will see that there is some going in one direction, the angle, and some going in the other direction. So if I wanted this paper, but to be going in the opposite direction in that middle row, what I need to do is start from the other end and turn it over. So I'm going to turn it over, do that 1/2 inch off, and then I'm going to line that one up at 3 1/2 inches. Oh, sorry, I mean it meant to be 2 1/2 inches. I just told you wrong. But you can see now that my angles are the opposite to what I had done. Okay, so that should have been a 2.5 inch cut. So that's how you cut these pieces. I'll actually just rectify that one so that we have got one going in the opposite direction. Now what I did was I did the same, showed them all to do the same with their lovely shortbread, and you can choose to have a bit of the lighter side and the darker side on your layout. However, once again, I go take that 1/2 inch triangle off, so 1/2 inch from the bottom of the piece of card, turn it round. Now it's going to be at 2.5 inches, and I'll cut a couple. And then if I want a few going in the opposite direction, I need to flip over the page to the lighter side, do that 1/2 inch at the bottom corner, up to the center at the top, swivel it round and do that one at 2.5 inches. And I should be able to get a couple out of that if I measure it correctly this time. 2.5 inches. Now, at times, depending on how frugal you are with your paper, you will find that maybe that last cut has got this little piece off. When we put this layout together, there's going to be some rectangles that go off the page. So that's when you use the ones that have maybe not quite reached the corner, because you're going to be trimming them off anyway. So it's not a problem. So we did that with those, and then with this last sheet, because we wanted it to be up the right direction, we need to cut these at 1 1/4. So they're going to be half the strip length of what we were using before. So that was a 1 1/4 strip. Again, I'm going to place the bottom corner out to half, the top corner up to the center, get my first cut, swivel it around, and measure it at 2.5 inches. So that gives me a few that are now the decorative paper, and the grass is still going the right direction. We want grass to be going upwards, don't we? So that grass is now looking pretty good. I'm going to take another 1 1/4 inch off this paper. And I'm going to do the same thing all over again, but this time with the flowers at the front. So take off my little triangle, swivel it around to 2.5 inches. Very easy concept. Once you've got the first couple going, you're all good to roll. So it just really depends which colours up front as to which one's going to go in that first direction that you started off with. And then if you want the flowers to go in the opposite direction, all we simply need to do is cut another 1 1/4. And this time we're going to cut it on the grass side, but use the flower side. So that's opposite to what we did with the first one. So we're going to cut those at the 2.5 inch mark, but we're going to use it that way, which means we've got the opposite direction of our rectangle. So as you can see, it's not difficult. Once you get started, you get all of your little rectangles ready to roll to put this layout together. And the last thing that I did do with this layout was to pull in the pewter ink on our zip strip. We always say the different colours that tie in with this paper range, and pewter is one of those colours. So it's a little lighter than going for black to do the distressing. You certainly could do the black, but you would need to bring in some other black elements, whether you brought in some black acrylic titles or some black photo mats or something else a little bit heavier to make it work. By using the pewter, we're just keeping it that nice subtle differentiation. So I'm just going through here, inking up some of our rectangles, and that's what we're going to use to lay it all together, make it look really defined. It makes the colours stand out, and in fact it brings in a slight bit of depth to these colours. So a lot of these colours in this paper range are quite light, so it is quite a nice way of bringing in a bit of depth. I'm going to use the pine as my photo mats, so I won't finish off all of these in front of you, but the pine itself, I've given everybody a 4-inch strip to be able to do the single page. So what I suggested they could do is cut the 4-inch strip by 6 inches to get a 6x4 photo, and then cut the other 4x6 in half so that you've got 2 3x4 photos. So that's just a nice way to get 3 photos onto the page. We always like to have a few more photos if we can on the page. Now I'll just show you what we ended up with, if I can find my example. And this is what everybody created on the day. So you'll see we used white as our backdrop. Then we brought in linen, and I just cut off 1/2 inch off 2 sides of the linen cardstock sheet just to give that nice differentiation. I really like the mix of linen and white together. It's still a really soft background, but it just gives a nice bit of definition. All of our rectangles have been layered up, alternating between different colours. As you can see, I've just gone through and done that. And then if they were hanging over the page, I've trimmed them off. And then I may even have reused the piece somewhere else on my little layout. So with what I did, I actually did 4 rows worth. You can just do 3 rows, depending on how many photos and how much embellishing you're going to do will be what matters. Now this top little piece here was created with my little 1/4 inch strip, which of course I have to take off 1/2 inch of that. And then the zip strip. Now the zip strip is only at 6 inches, so you can easily trim those in half. You just need a bit of adhesive, stick a bit of adhesive on the back, and then pop it into your trimmer and trim down the center line. And that's all I've done. You cannot tell that there's a little join up here. Very easy. And then I've finished it off with some of the beautiful Backyard Bliss thin wood grain die cuts. Now I absolutely love how thin they are. So we've got this whole selection you can get here. I have just pulled in a few of the buttons and a few of the flowers with buttons on top, and then just a couple of tags. And that's as simple as what I have done at this point. Until I put my photos on and add a title, you know, I can't quite finish the layout off. But you can see how it comes together. It's rather lovely. It's a slightly simplified version of the one that's in the book. We'll put that against it as well. The one in the book has used this really cool rainbow zip strip along the top, and instead of just the linen in the background, they have used this chicken wire piece of patterned paper, which is actually out of mink. So there's a chicken wire here, so they have used that in the backdrop. So that's how they've altered that. And then of course they've pulled in a few of the stickers, the beautiful florals that are in the sticker sheet, to add all that fun colour and a few little icons around. But absolutely lovely to put together. Not so hard to do those angle cuts as you may have first thought. And there you go. You've got a pretty gorgeous layout. I hope you enjoyed recreating that layout from the latest book. Please come back again and visit some more of my videos, and leave a like or a share if you really enjoyed it. Thanks heaps for your time. Bye.